Electrostatics is nothing but the branch of physics, or it is the phenomena that deals with the properties of stationary electric charges. Electricity is the presence of electric charge, and the two types of electricity we can define it as static electricity and current electricity. Electric charge is nothing but the intrinsic property due to which it repels its own kind and attracts its opposite kind. Hello all, welcome to session 1 of chapter 1 of your second PUC, that is electric charges and fields. This is Swati from Department of Physics, Vidhyaashram University College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Dear children, in this chapter, we are going to study about the basic properties of electric charges, where we are going to understand what is an electric charge, what about the electric fields, what is the significance of these things in the daily life, and also about the significance of electric charges and fields and various phenomena. So, before going to start, let us understand what is electrostatics. Electrostatics. Statics means rest. Now, electrostatics is nothing but the branch of physics, or it is the phenomena that deals with the properties of stationary electric charges. What do you mean by stationary? Stationary means rest. So, the study of charges when they are at rest is called as electrostatics. So, Thales of Millet gave us the name electricity. So, it is derived from the Greek word electron. So, what is the meaning of electron? You can observe electron K. So, the meaning of this electron is amber, which is basically a resin from a tree. So, when he started observing by rubbing the amber with some kind of substance, he observes the charges, and from that he named the term called electricity, which is derived from electron. So from this, what can we understand is electrostatics is the branch of physics that deals with the study of charges when they are at rest, and also it will give us an idea between the forces between static charges. Static charges means charges at rest. So what is the force between the charges when they are at rest? We can understand in the study of electrostatics, and also it will give us an idea about fields, potentials due to the static charges. Here we are going to study about the electric field due to the static charges. And for example, in our daily life we might have all observed the plastic comb gets electrified. What do you mean by electrified? I'll come to that later. So the plastic comb gets electrified on passing through the dry hair. This is the example we have all come across in our life. So the phenomena, basic phenomena behind these things, what we have observed is electrostatics, which means it is due to the static charges. Now we came to know what is electrostatics. Let us now define electricity. What do you mean by electricity? It is the presence and the flow of electric charge. So, electricity is the presence of electric charge, and the two types of electricity we can define it as static electricity and current electricity. As we all know, static electricity is nothing but it is the electricity due to charges at rest, and current electricity is nothing but the electricity due to the flow of charges, due to the motion of charges. I am using the word charge, charges. What is the meaning of electric charge? Electric charge is nothing but the intrinsic property due to which it repels its own kind and attracts its opposite kind. Which means we all know about the basic property of charges, like charges repels each other, unlike charges attract each other. Correct? So, electric charge is the intrinsic property, the property of its own, which due to which it repels its own kind and attracts the opposite kind is basically the electric charge. So, these are the basic things which we have to know before studying about electric charges and fields and their properties in detail. What are the characteristics of this electric charge? As I said, unlike charges attract each other and like charges repel each other. So these are named as positive charge and negative charge. Basically we know. So when we take positive and positive charge, they repel each other because they are of the same kind. And if we consider positive and negative, they attract each other because it is of opposite kind. It is one of the property of electric charges. And property that differentiates the two kind of charges is termed as polarity of charge. What do you mean by polarity? It is the property that differentiates between the two kinds of charges. So we will call it as polarity. Very important terminology. We are going to use this frequently as we go further in the studies of electric fields. Now we came to know what is an electric charge, what is electricity, and many more details. Now the process of charging any body is called as electrification. We are learning all the basic terms related to electrostatics because we are studying about electric charges and fields in this chapter. So we must know about all these terminologies. It is very important. So the process of charging a body is called as electrification. So when a body acquires an electric charge on rubbing, then the body is said to be electrified. We know rubbing or due to friction, the charging can take place. So when a body acquires an electric charge on rubbing it, then the charges will pass on to that body. So we can call the body is electrified. So the next thing is, by the convention, the charge on the electron is written as minus E and the charge on the proton is taken as plus E. The magnitude of proton and electron is almost same, but they are opposite in sign. So minus E is the charge on electron, plus E is the charge on proton. So the basic value of charge is given by E is the value of charge. The basic value is given by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. Since electron is termed as minus E, the smallest available charge in nature is the charge on electron and it is given as minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So this value is very important examination point of view. Now, how to detect this electric charge? So that is with the help of gold leaf electroscope. So this is the apparatus which is a gold leaf electroscope where we have a glass chamber and also a metal rod which is fixed with a metal knob, and here we have used two gold leaves. You can see here two gold leaves are used here. So how this works? When a metal knob is in contact with this metal rod, the charges will pass through this and the gold leaf will repel each other when two like charges are passed through the metal rod. When like charges are passed through it, the repulsion will take place. Based on the degree of separation, the amount of charges that is passing through was measured. So this is the use of gold leaf electroscope. Here gold leaves are thin leaves which used to repel against each other when the like charges pass through. Based on the degree of separation, what is the amount of charges that was passed through was detected. So that's the importance of gold leaf electroscope. Let's move on to another basic thing, that is conductor and insulator. As we all know, material that allows the charges to pass through it are called as conductors. So what are the best examples for conductors? It is a human body and metals. So what is conductor? Conductors are basically the substances that allow the electric charges to pass through it. So insulators are the substances, they do not allow the electric charges to pass through it, and the best example for that is plastic and wood. When some charges are transferred to a conductor, these charges will distribute uniformly on the surface, on the entire surface of a material or a substances. Whereas in case of insulators, when charges are passed through those materials, they will stay at one place. There will be no distribution of charges uniformly, and hence we say those materials do not conduct. They are named as insulators. We have various methods to charge any body. What are those methods? It is very important to understand. First one is charging by friction. We know what is friction. So first thing, charging by friction. So next one, charging by conduction, and we have charging by induction. So let us see about these things in detail. So what is charging by friction? Consider two bodies. When we have two bodies and these two bodies are rubbed against each other, At their point of contact, the electrons will transfer from one body to another uncharged body. This process of charging is called as charging by friction. When two bodies are rubbed against each other, at the points of contact, the electrons will transfer from one body to another body. The material that loses its electron is said to be positively charged. The material which gains the electrons are said to be negatively charged, which means the charges will transfer from one body to another body due to friction, and that method is called as charging by friction. So let's move on to the next thing, that is charging by conduction. Look at this picture carefully. So I have one material where I have negative charges on it. I have another sphere where there is no charge. So when I bring these two particles or substances in contact, this charges will transfer to the another uncharged body. The electrons transfer will take place to this object, and it will make this object also with the same negative charge. And this method is called as charging due to conduction. So let us consider an uncharged body. So let me consider this as uncharged body and this as a charged body. So when these two are in contact with each other, the charges flow from one charged body to uncharged body, and there is a conduction process between these two substances, and because of this conduction, uncharged body is also getting charged. So that is called as charging by conduction. So the nature of the charge acquired by uncharged body is same as that of the charged body, because the same charges will flow from one body to another body due to conduction. Let us now briefly learn about what is charging by induction. So from this method, a body which is also a good conductor can also be charged by placing near a charged body. So in this method, the induced electron or induced charge is always opposite to that of charging body. Say I have a good conductor. Now I place this good conductor with a charged body. Now the charging process will take place, but whatever the charges that induces will be always in opposite charge. So this process is called as induction or charging by induction. So in this session, we have learnt about all the basic terminologies that are involved with electric charges. What is an electric charge? What is a property of electric charge? How to charge a body, and what do we call the process of charging any body, and many more things. So in the upcoming session, let us learn more things or more concepts in detail with respect to electric charges and fields. So until then, keep learning all of you. See you all in the next session. Thank you.